The desert air was thick with dust and smoke as Captain James Jim Reynolds surveyed the battlefield from his vantage point. He wiped the sweat from his brow, his uniform stained with grime. The year was 2006, and the war in Iraq had entered one of its most intense phases. Jim, a veteran of multiple deployments, had seen his fair share of combat, but this mission was different. This one felt personal. His squad, the Echo Team, had been assigned a critical task, rescuing an embedded journalist who had been captured by insurgents in the city of Fallujah. The journalist, Daniel Foster, had been covering the war for an American news network when he was taken hostage. Intelligence suggested that he was being held in an abandoned school deep within enemy territory. Jim and his team had only hours to plan. Their orders were clear: extract Foster and neutralize any hostiles standing in their way. Failure was not an option. As the team geared up, Sergeant William Will Carter approached Jim. "Captain, I got a bad feeling about this one." Jim sighed, adjusting the strap of his rifle. "We all do, Will. But we have a job to do." The operation began under the cover of darkness. Black Hawk helicopters dropped Echo Team just outside the city, avoiding the heavily fortified roads leading into Fallujah. Moving swiftly through the deserted streets, they kept their weapons raised, eyes scanning for any sign of movement. Every shadow, every doorway, held the potential for an ambush. Suddenly, a burst of gunfire erupted from a nearby alley. The team hit the ground, returning fire. Bullets whizzed past as Jim barked orders. "Flank left. Keep moving." Specialist Diaz, the team's sniper, positioned himself on a rooftop and took out 2 insurgents before they could get closer. The rest of the team pushed forward, reaching the school's outer perimeter. Jim signaled for Private Anderson to plant explosives on the back entrance. Within seconds, a deafening blast rocked the building, and Echo Team rushed inside. The hallways were eerily silent, save for the distant sound of muffled voices. Moving cautiously, they cleared room after room until they reached a locked door on the second floor. Jim motioned for silence and listened. Someone was inside. Will kicked the door open and the team stormed in. A group of insurgents scrambled for their weapons, but the soldiers were faster. Within moments, the hostiles were neutralized, and there, tied to a chair in the corner, was Daniel Foster. "Foster, we're here to get you out," Jim said, cutting his restraints. The journalist's face was pale, his eyes filled with a mix of relief and fear. "They were going to execute me," he whispered. "We have to go. Now." No sooner had he spoken than gunfire erupted from outside. The insurgents had been alerted to their presence. Echo Team had to fight their way out. The extraction point was half a mile away, but every step was a battle. Explosions lit up the night as RPGs narrowly missed their targets. Will took a hit to the shoulder but kept moving, refusing to let the pain slow him down. As they neared the rendezvous point, the sound of approaching helicopters filled the air. The sight of American forces descending upon the battlefield gave the team renewed hope. The extraction chopper touched down, its rotors kicking up a cloud of dust. Jim and his men formed a defensive perimeter as they loaded Foster onto the aircraft. Just as Jim was about to climb aboard, a sniper shot rang out, hitting him in the leg. He stumbled, pain shooting through his body. Will turned back, firing in the direction of the sniper. "We're not leaving you," he shouted. "Go!" Jim ordered, gritting his teeth. "That's an order." Ignoring him, Will and Diaz dragged Jim into the helicopter as bullets pinged off the fuselage. The moment they were inside, the pilot lifted off, soaring into the night sky. Jim exhaled sharply, the pain in his leg intensifying. He looked around at his team, battered, bruised, but alive. Foster sat in the corner, clutching a bandage to his arm, gratitude evident in his expression. "You guys saved my life," he said, his voice filled with emotion. Jim managed a tired smile. "That's what we do." As the helicopter carried them away from the battlefield, Jim closed his eyes, letting the adrenaline fade. He knew that the war wasn't over, and there would be more battles to fight. But for now, they had won. And sometimes, in war, even the smallest victories meant everything.